Hey everyone, this is a lease update video. So we all know that Tesla recently dropped the prices of the Model 3 and the Model Y. Model Y by 2,000, Model 3 by 1,000. So I want to go over how this affected the lease payments. Some of you may not know, as most people are buying these cars, financing them, or paying for cash outright, is that the lease price has slowly been dropping over time. So I have a 2019 purchase of a Model 3 and for a 2020 model. So at the end of 2019, the price was $39,900 for the Model 3, and the lease price was $399 a month for 10,000 miles a year, with $4,500 due up front plus other fees. Over time, this price has slowly gone down, and I opted for the 15,000 mile per year at $450 per month plus tax. So my total all ends about $480 per month for 15,000 miles per year at a purchase price of $39,900. One thing to note about buying the Model 3 and the Y is that you are not able to buy the car after the lease is over. That is a big disadvantage over other manufacturers of vehicles where you are nearly in every scenario able to buy the car outright. This goal is for Tesla to add to the robotaxi fleet, where all people buying these leases are essentially subsidizing the car for Tesla. It's a smart move since they'll have the flexibility to decide, do I want to sell this car used or do I want to add it to my fleet? It remains to be seen if they'll still hold that. We've seen reports in Germany that people have been able to buy their Model 3 outright. The leasing program only started less than 3 years ago, so not many people are returning their leases yet, and so we'll know more when that time comes. But with these price reductions, the lease payment has gone down significantly. So as an example, right now, if we're looking at leasing a Model 3 again in 2021, in February, after this price decrease, we're looking at a $36,900 purchase price, but the lease payment has dropped all the way down to $329. So this is a $70 per month decrease, or over 17% drop than just 15 months ago, where you could lease this car for $399 a month with less range, less build quality, the overall, the paint, the chrome delete, the new center console, power liftgate, double pane glass in the front, just all these extra updates that have happened to the car, the heat pump, you're getting for 17.5% less for the same upfront payment, and the monthly is so much lower. So 4,500 down, 10,000 miles per year. And if I were to switch to 15,000, I wish this was like phones where you could upgrade more often. But even at 15,000 miles a year, that is almost $90 a month that is less that you can be paying for the same car today. Pretty amazing. Less than, according to the Q4 earnings report, less than 10% of buyers are opting to lease. I expect that number to increase. Tesla hasn't really advertised this much. These updates just kind of happen on their own, but you're getting a lot of value for this. Now, what about the Model Y? So if we look at the Model Y, this is something that the lease payment is only $411 per month, and that's at 15,000 miles. So I could get a Model Y today, standard range, at 15,000 miles a year for almost $40 a month less than I paid for a Model Y just 15 months ago. If I go to 10,000 miles, this now drops all the way to $367 per month. Such a big decrease. Now, these lease prices are very attractive. They will go up as you add other options like rims and paint, full self-driving. I would recommend don't get full self-driving up front if you're deciding to lease. I don't know many that would, as there is a subscription service coming that should solve most problems for those that are opting to transfer full self-driving or just want to try it out for a period of time. I don't have details of what that will entail, if it's month to month or you have a minimum commitment, but that should be exciting if some people just want to try out some of the fun features. So leasing is way more attractive than it was before. The value you get is incredible. And as we know, if you're leasing today, your lease will go through 2024. And by then, we should have another refresh of all of the vehicles. Gigafactory Austin is where the 3 and the Y will also be produced alongside the Cybertruck, amongst other vehicles, using the new battery cells that were advertised at Battery Day. So we should see significant cost reduction, range increases, potential design changes to reflect some of the design language of the Model S and the X refresh. Generally, Tesla is always in their best interest to consolidate, reduce the number of parts and cost amongst their trim levels. But right now, I still think leasing is a decent option. The arguments against it, everyone is in a different financial situation, whether you want to buy or not. But if you want to use this long term, drive more than the allotted miles, or make after market modifications, or generally just sell the car because these retain their value so much, it could be that this car, when you sell it after 2 or 3 years, if you were to buy it outright, the money you get back will be higher than if you were to lease this vehicle. So if I were to make this 5,500 in payments plus the monthly fee and taxes, the cost of my lease, which right now for me is about 21,000. So if I took a $40,000 car, the buyout technically, or the remaining value of 19,000, the question is, if I were to buy it, could I sell, if I was able to buy this car outright and sell it, would I get more than 19,000 after 3 years? That's the question. And if the answer is yes, which it may be, and we also have to think about taxes as well, on top of that, maybe financing makes sense and you would have paid less over those 3 years than if you had leased. All I know is with these cars, leasing gives me more flexibility, and I can know that I'm going to trade this car in after a few years. I don't drive very much, especially with remote work. And the value that my Model 3 is going to retain is going to be significantly net less, especially since the car was refreshed and there's going to be a lot more technology coming that's going to further make the value of this car go down significantly, similar to how we saw with the Model S. Older Model S's have really lost a lot of value because there's so much capacity available. Demand remains decent for those cars, but you can really get a Model S, even though we have the refresh. Before that, there's so much more cars on the road that when there's enough supply, the demand goes down and the price goes down. And we'll start to see that as we're going to be minimum 500,000 plus cars produced globally as well. So I hope this was helpful for leasing. The main takeaway is, even though these cars got a few percent price decrease on the upfront fee, the lease price has gone down by more than double digits. We're looking at 17+% decrease in the monthly fee than before, and you're getting a lot more value as well. What you're looking at as well, this is the long range. So this is the base paint, the base rims, but the long range dual motor is $459 a month at 10,000 miles a year. That's nearly identical to what I'm paying now for 15,000 miles, but that's a $10,000 difference in price on the car. So if you've been thinking about leasing, now seems like the time to do it. Just keep in mind, it's only going to get better from here, and the cars are going to get better annually. So I hope this was helpful. Please take care, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.